So here I'm back in the Civilization playthrough. I just founded Caesarea and I just developed ceremonial burial. This is the latest technology. This is necessary for building temples to, I guess Noam Chomsky would say, manufacture consent. And you also need it for the monarchy, which I'm going to develop next. Having an efficient government is one of the most fundamental principles of playing Civilization effectively. The other is to build as many cities as possible as early as possible, which is what I'm doing here by not spending any resources on the military and instead pouring all of my resources into settlers, which are technically counted as military units. It keeps saying I built my first military unit long after I haven't. But the fact is that they serve a very different purpose from soldiers. You need to build cities, so they're the only way to do it, actually. Even in later versions of Civilization like Civ 2 and so on, which have engineers don't generally build cities. You generally have to have settlers. So, the monarchy. The technological development is going very, very fast, and I've found that generally this happens when you build a lot of cities early on very rapidly. It seems to speed it along quite well, without you having to spend a lot on education. So you have just acquired knowledge of monarchy. Under a monarchy, your citizens are more productive, but the maintenance costs of military units are higher. So first of all, I'll pick a technology. Writing is kind of important if you want to advance your civilization, so that's my choice. And I start a revolution to bring in myself as a monarch. Of course, in Civilization, you're always kind of a monarch or a dictator of sorts. And that way it's both realistic and unrealistic. And once again, it tells me I built my first military unit, or however many times. But this is again going to be more settlers. And now I choose monarchy as the government. And that's the new cabinet, basically ancient Egyptians. Your cabinet are based on your style of government and your era, not your nationality. And again, that tells me incorrectly that I've built my first military unit. I think that's a bug. I can't see what else that could be. And it's new, too. I've never noticed that bug before. Must be something wrong with my setup. So again, it's recommending a new city be founded, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to ask any questions because I need to found these cities as quickly as possible. So again, I'll build more settlers. And of course, one other mathematical aspect of this is, as you build more and more cities, your ability to build more increases exponentially, because each of those cities can then produce settlers. So, Roman wise men discovered the secret of writing. And I choose map making because I need to build a navy to send my settlers to other continents, which is actually really a nuisance because you have to devote some cities to building ships and some cities to building settlers, but earlier in the game, without there being a republican form of government, I don't have to put as many improvements into the cities, and so I'm more able to build units. Now all of these info pages are from the Civilopedia, which you see in the upper right there. I'll show that later. It was a feature that supposedly Civilization introduced to gaming, to have a built-in encyclopedia, or nowadays a wiki, to show you how to play the game. I chose bronze making as my next technology there because you need that to build phalanxes, which are your first really effective defensive military units, and in all likelihood I'm going to run into another society shortly, in which case I'll have to build up my military. Now it's telling me I can irrigate there by pressing the I key, but I don't have the time. I have to build more cities here. So then it recommends building another city, and so that's what I'll do. Byzantium, 2500 BC. So again, whoops, I think I made a mistake there. Yes, I forgot to build settlers there. I mean, normally I would want a defensive military unit there to begin with, but the trouble with that is that I won't be able to expand fast enough so that I'll be well defended later. As I've said earlier, victory in civilization depends very heavily on the size of your civilization. So then my wise men just discovered bronze working. So then I develop what? Horseback riding. Because that will give me more of an offensive ability militarily, which will be necessary in the near future. Now notice I'm ignoring those little huts there for the moment because, as you saw earlier, they can often be full of barbarians, and then you can lose your settler potentially, even though earlier, as you recall, I got lucky. Now I'm still looking for city sites here. More settlers. Exactly what I want. So again, telling me this latest settlers unit is the first military unit, even though it isn't. And it's recommended that I build another city, and so I do. And there it is. And I switch to building settlers once again. So they're rewarding me with an improved palace there again. And my wise men discover the secret of horseback riding, giving me a little bit more offensive power there. And I switch to ironworking next because that has all kinds of benefits, including the ability to build legions. But I'm running out of time, so I will see you in the next video. Yeah, settlers lost because I ran out of food. See you in the next video.